The Plague's Shadow. In the harsh summer of 1587, the Roanoke Colony withered under a merciless sun. The crops failed, the rivers yielded sparse fish, and the hope of John White's return with English supplies had dwindled to a flicker. The 115 settlers, men, women, and children, clung to survival in their crude wooden village, their faces gaunt, their prayers desperate. The air was thick with dread, not only of starvation, but of something darker, a creeping sickness that began with a cough and ended in fevered delirium. Among the settlers was Alice Gray, a midwife whose steady hands had delivered half the colony's children, including Virginia Dare. She knew the signs of plague from London's grim streets: flushed skin, rattling breaths, and eyes clouded with fear. Her husband, Henry, a farmer, kept their small garden, but even his strength waned as hunger gnawed. Their daughter, Ellen, just 7, was the first to notice the illness. A boy named Thomas fell ill, his body burning, his coughs echoing through the night. Soon others followed: mothers, craftsmen, even the colony's stern preacher, Nathaniel Booth, who called it God's punishment for their failures. The sickness spread like wildfire. Alice worked tirelessly, brewing willow bark tea and pressing cool cloths to fevered brows. But her remedies failed. By the 3rd week, 30 lay dead, their bodies wrapped in cloth and buried in shallow graves beyond the stockade. Panic gripped the survivors. Councilman Giles Warren, Greaves' right hand, ordered quarantine, locking the sick in a barn, but it only hastened their end. Whispers grew of abandoning Roanoke, seeking refuge elsewhere. Alice, tending the dying, overheard native traders speak of a distant island, untouched by disease, where the air was clean and the waters pure. One night, as the moon hung low, Alice called a secret meeting in her cabin. Henry, Ellen, and a dozen others, farmers, weavers, and the scout Lydia Marsh, gathered by candlelight. "We can't stay," Alice said, her voice steady despite her grief. "The plague will take us all. The natives speak of an island, far south, where we might live." Lydia, who had scouted the coast, nodded. "It's a week's journey by boat, past Croatoan. The currents are kind, but we'll need courage." Henry, his face lined with worry, agreed. "Better to die trying than rot here." Booth, though weakened, opposed, insisting they pray for salvation. But the group voted to flee. 82 would go, 3 would stay. Too sick or stubborn to move. The escape was grim. Under cover of darkness, the survivors burned the plague-ridden bodies in the barn, the flames lighting the sky like a funeral pyre. They gathered what little they had: nets, seeds, a few tools, and loaded 3 small boats. Alice carved Croatoan into a fence post, a desperate hope that White might find them if he returned. Ellen clung to her mother, whispering, "Will we be safe?" Alice lied with a smile. "Yes, love." The boats set out, the settlers rowing in silence, their eyes fixed on the horizon. The journey was brutal. Storms battered the boats, and hunger gnawed deeper. Lydia's navigation kept them on course, but the sickness lingered. 5 more died at sea. Their bodies slipped into the waves. After 6 days, they sighted a rocky island, its cliffs draped in green, its shores lapped by clear water. The settlers wept as they landed, believing they'd found sanctuary. They built shelters from driftwood, fished the abundant waters, and planted seeds in the sandy soil. Alice tended the sick, praying the clean air would heal them. But the plague was relentless. One by one, the settlers succumbed. Henry first, then Lydia, until only Alice and Ellen remained. Alice, her strength fading, held her daughter under the stars, singing a lullaby as Ellen's breath slowed. By morning, Alice was alone. She buried Ellen beside the others, marking the graves with stones. With her last strength, she scratched a final message into a cliff face: "We sought life." Then she lay down, the plague claiming her under the island's silent sky. When John White returned in 1590, he found Roanoke empty, the Croatoan carving his only clue. He searched the island of Croatoan but found no trace